Our last episode of Two Guys on a Porch went so well in our conversation with Lanny Hester that we couldn't stop.
Too much wisdom to cram into one episode.
Yeah, so stay with us as we continue to smoke amazing Padrón cigars, drink Pappy 12-year Lot B and Jack Daniel's Bonded, and hear great nuggets of wisdom and entertaining stories from Lanny Hester.
And as a matter of fact, I was wanting to drive a race car. That's the fun. And operating a race and getting ready for the show and putting on the show and all that it'll almost ruin your taste of racing. And I wanted to just get back to driving a race car.
Well, and you did.
Yes, I did.
And then I know in 1986, you won the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Yeah, the prototypes, there were 3 prototypes ahead of me, but there were 4 classes of cars, and we were in the second class as Mustangs and Camaros and 800
That was
horsepower.
the GTO division.
The GTO division, right. And it was an IMSA designation.
Yeah, and let me put this in context, because you may not remember how many teams, because this is a team event, 24 hours, you're not driving that by yourself. And for those of you that have seen like Ford versus Ferrari, you know, you drive a certain number of hours and then you're relieved by another person on your team and
right.
so forth.
Well, you have to have 3 drivers for Daytona, just 2 for the 12 hours of Sebring.
Okay. So basically 8-hour shifts. Is that effectively?
Well, not really. You can't keep your reflexes for 8 hours. You go and 2 hours and 40 minutes. You go an hour and 20 minutes, come in for fuel, but no driver change. At 2:40, you come in 2 hours and 40 minutes. You come in for a driver change, tire change, and fuel. That's if everything is going well.
I got you.
That's your
okay
way, the routine that you're supposed to follow.
There were 70 teams in that race across those 4 divisions.
There were 70 teams.
And as you said, the GTP, the prototype division, they had 3 teams that finished first, second, and third, all driving a Porsche 962.
Right, that's correct.
Al Unser Jr. was one of the team members that won the race. A.J. Foyt was on the team that came in second. But the 4th place team and the winner of the GTO division was a team led by Lanny Hester.
It was 3 amateurs.
Well,
yeah, and Jack Roush had prepared the car for us, and he's a well-known NASCAR race car preparer, and he said he was glad that we won it because he said with you ragtag guys, he said with you amateur guys, he said it just really shows my car is nice. he said it's well built.
Well, there was a Roush Mustang that finished behind you guys in 5th place, second in the division, and one of those drivers was somebody we would all have heard of. Do you recall who that is?
Caitlin?
He's being politically correct. Wow.
Yeah, Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. Oh, okay. Yeah, Bruce Jenner.
Some would know him as Caitlin. You're correct.
Well, yeah, he was Bruce Jenner back then, and he actually was ahead with about 32 minutes to go in the race. He was ahead
of y'all.
Ahead of us,
and he's driving.
And he's driving, and I'm driving because since it was my car, I wanted to finish wherever we finished. You know, I had that privilege. You know, and it was I loved it, and so he called in and said, "I'm having a little trouble with my transmission." And it wasn't a little trouble. He didn't know what it was mechanically any more than I would have known. But he said, I'm having a little trouble, and I think all I have left is 4th gear. And he told his crew chief that. Well, that just went up and down pit row, and everybody knew it in no time. So my guy gets on with me, and he says, we got a shot at this. And I'm like a lap and a half behind him. And the track is 3.84 miles. So a lap and a half is about 6 miles.
Okay.
And so I said, okay. So I started I didn't speed up because I was already going as hard as I could go. And by the way, that car would do things that I wasn't good enough to make it do. It was
Did
designed.
you say 800 horsepower?
Yeah, 785.
So that's
yeah.
pretty strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it had a lot of gimmicks on it that I didn't use. But anyway, I started catching him, and my crew chief was telling me what the closing ratios were and how I was closing, and so he would go into a turn, and you have to keep your RPMs up above 8,000 as you're braking and downshifting. You have to keep pumping that accelerator. It's not like the buttons they use today. It's like you had to do heel and toe driving and downshifting. And so your accelerator is like this. It's an L shape, and you're putting on the brakes, but the brakes won't slow you down enough. You've got to use your gears to come down. So you go from fifth to fourth to third to wherever you have to go.
But he's only got the one gear.
He's only got the one gear, so he's having to use his brakes only. And so it really slowed him down. Anyway, we passed him with about 10 minutes to go.
Wow.
And it was an exhilarating thing.
Now you guys had a conversation about this at Sebring. You raced in the 12 hours of Sebring a
You
couple
and
of months
Caitlin
later.
Jenner or Bruce back then.
You what now?
The Bruce, the conversation was between, to clarify.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
had a conversation.
We did have a conversation.
Tell me
if
about
you want to
that.
call
Tell
it.
us about that.
We were sitting on the. I was sitting on the pit wall when we were going through practice, and one of the other guys was driving. The other Maurice Hassey was driving in practice, and I was just sitting on the pit wall. And Bruce came up and sat down and said, "Is that the piece of crap car?"
No, wait a minute. Is that what he said, Lanny?
That's what he said. Well, I cleaned it up a tiny bit. But he said, and I said, well, that's not a very nice thing to say about a car that was built by Rouse, and yours was too, and they're pretty equal, you know. And I'm not saying anything bad about your car. He said, well, I can say what I want. I've got $900,000 in a CD. I said, that is so interesting. and so we never got along
did you
real well.
make-
He never asked me my name. He never asked me anything, and I was just supposed to know him. I didn't ask him.
Did you make any comment about his driving skill?
Well, yeah, I'd forgotten that. I said that you would have beat me if you'd have known how to downshift.
But he had burned up all of his gears.
He had burned up all of his gear. It's hard to drive that track in fourth gear, you know.
Well, like kids of this generation, they have no idea how to downshift and to stop a car based on downshifting, or at least slow it down. So yeah, Bruce Jenner was ignorant of that even back then.
Well, he was doing it, but he was doing it with such little finesse that he was eating up the gears.
Yeah.
So the
Burning
gears,
the
the gears just were gone,
Yeah,
and a second and third gear were, and you can't go into first.
yeah.
You know that you'd be, you know, it would be a real mess.
Blow the engine.
And so it was pretty funny. The whole thing. He got up to leave and just was walking away, and that's when I told him, by the way, you would have won. You know, you had it going, and you would have won if you knew how to shift.
I'm sure he appreciated that. He probably turned and said, well, could you give me some advice?
No,
No,
they didn't put you on the Wheaties box though.
no, he didn't. And anyway, he had a dismal experience at Sebring, but his team won Sebring, and he was on the Today Show the next morning. Not Today Show, but one of those early morning shows.
yeah.
He was on one of those shows, and they were just hailing him as not only an Olympic decathlon athlete, but you know,
Now he's a celebrity winner
now
in
he's
driving.
a real race driver.
Well, tell me about, you go back to defend your title in '87. How'd that go?
You know, it wasn't quite the jolly experience that '86 was. I was driving, and it was we were 14 hours into it, and it was in the dark, and I came down came off turn 4 and was going down the street, and my whole engine grenaded, and it was just filled with smoke. The car was, and the smoke outside was going up the windshield, and I couldn't see anything. And I was doing close to 200 miles an hour, and so I knew there was
Literally
a big,
driving blind in the dark with a smoke-filled car.
Yeah, that's bad. That
white
2-point
smoke.
scale, good, bad. That's bad.
But there's this big grassy area, about an acre of grass there, between the track and the pits.
You
And
knew it was there.
I
Even though
knew
you
it was
couldn't
there,
see.
and I couldn't see it, but I started slowing down fast and headed for that grass. And I got onto the grass, and by then the flames were coming out, and I had to dive out the window and out the driver window. But I got unbuckled and got out while I was stopping, and got unharnessed and just drive out the window. Anyway, the two guys came running out with fire extinguishers, and they both malfunctioned, and my car melted.
Wow.
My car melted. It was left with a chassis, no tires.
No tires.
Well, the tires burned up.
Oh my God.
So you had the wheels, the chassis, the transmission, and all that, and that was it. And Jack Roush bought them back from me because he would start over and use that same
Sure.
chassis and do it. You know?
Was this televised back then? Was that
It was televised.
that would have made for great TV. I'm thinking everybody
Yeah,
would
we
have
need to
glued
find
that.
some footage.
Yeah,
of
that would have, yeah.
Well, the whole thing still is not great for TV though. In the night racing, and you're seeing headlights and tail lights.
Pretty sure the fire and smoke would have showed up there, though.
Oh yeah, now that. Oh man! But we had some great drivers in prototype. Paul Newman was driving at that time, and he was really an excellent driver. He wasn't just.
He knew how to drive the car.
He knew how to drive, and he was in a prototype, and they're running 233, 234 down the straight. On the oval.
Yeah.
And then you come down into the infield for a series of turns, but he passed me at about 4 o'clock in the morning one time, and we were just coming out of the infield, and we're getting ready to head up to up onto the oval, and so we were both accelerating. His car just happened to be 30 miles an hour faster than me, and so he comes by me and whips over in front of me as we come up on the thing, and changes gears, and it just shot flames up over my car. And it was a very scary thing, but it didn't hurt a
Good wake up
thing.
call at 4 a.m.
It didn't. It helped wake me up for the rest of the race. I'll tell you that.
Well, and I think I recall you telling me about when Paul Newman was at the track that he was very friendly as long as you were talking racing.
Yeah. Oh, he would. You could sit over there, and he was eating popcorn all the time, and he'd sit over there, and you could talk to him as long as you didn't ask for his autograph or tell him you liked his movies or something like that.
Like he didn't want to.
He was hostile about that. He did.
But he was friendly as he could be talking about racing.
friendly as he could be with the crews and with the drivers and everything. Everybody liked him.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When did you stop racing?
Stopped racing in '88. I started in '69 and I quit in '88.
So '87, with the car melted around, you didn't end it. You'd thought
That
you'd tried
didn't.
another
I still
year.
had my baby grand car, and I went and I was racing in Atlanta, which is a very forgiving track. It's wide and you just floor it. And I was racing a little 4-cylinder baby grand car, and you're going along, you're running maybe 155, 160 in the straight, and you feel like you're
Just cruising along.
it does feel like it. I felt like I was riding a John Deere tractor. I felt you went,
Guess it's all relative, yeah.
and it wasn't that throaty growl of a V8 that you have,
Right.
But you were whizzing along there, and I got to thinking about business deals. I got to thinking about what I'm going to do here and what I'm going to do here in my clinic, and I got to, and then I got to thinking, what am I doing? I was drafting behind the guy 2 feet behind him, and he was leading and I was second, and I was drafting along, and I was thinking about a business deal I was trying to put together. And so that's when I quit.
Okay. When your mind wasn't on the race.
It wasn't on it. It wasn't on it. And I tried 3 races, and Atlanta was the last one of the season, and I sold my car and got out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well-
maybe I outgrew it. I outgrew the whole thing.
Well, you were close to 50 by then, if my math is
No,
right.
No, surely not.
Well, that was 36 years ago. And how old are you?
84.
Yeah, so late 40s by then.
I was late for 45, 46, something like that.
I don't mean to steal years from you, Lanny.
Well, that's okay. I'm not real touchy about my age.
So you've not retired. I mean, you're 84, and I know you're doing something now because we've talked about it. But I know just from our experience sharing cigars together, did your cigar go out again?
Oh, that's all right. Go ahead.
Well, that's because you keep talking. Yeah.
In his defense, though, I'm so intrigued by the stories. My cigar went out. Just listening to him,
I
I'm
know.
intrigued.
And I was just going to stop and say, here, hand me that lighter. I'll help you out. First, I'm going to give it to you.
I'm
so
not a
you
very
can
good
light up
mechanic.
again.
Oh, thank you, sir.
But it's just that idea of the first time you and I met, you were sharing just a little bit of these stories over a cigar. And I think just the point of what we're trying to do here is exactly this. I mean, here we sit on a porch, a couple of guys sharing stories, and how much fun that can be, and how it really integrates a relationship into something we just have a good time doing.
I love it. Yeah.
So along that lines, I mean, these Padrones are
Yeah,
excellent.
they are.
You had made a comment, and I don't know if it was then or later, that you feel like as you've gotten older, that at some point your opinion didn't matter as much. People didn't listen to it as much as they had when you were younger.
Yeah, I think we used the term "out to pasture." when
That's
we were
the
talking
term you
about it.
used. I didn't want to go there, but yeah.
Well, and when your opinion, you have to face the fact that you have now limited time, and so therefore you have limited effect. You know what I mean? And you sort of the all the contacts that you've always had with the present day, they just sort of diminish, and it's kind of a strange feeling. You get the feeling that you're standing over here, and the world is over here, and you're watching the world operate. You're watching it instead of being a part of it and making things happen.
So
You know what I mean?
How do you adjust to that or cope with that? Is there a sadness attached to it, or is it just a reality of that's the stage of life you're in?
Well, I had a hard time at first. When I was in business, I was running maybe one business, maybe 3, maybe 5 at any given time, and so you would make lists at night at home. I would make lists and priorities and meetings and presentations and problems and all this, and then the next morning you'd hop out of bed just energized and
Conquer the world.
go in there and go in there and go for it. And you were busy all day, and it seemed like 10 hours was 5 minutes, you know. And then all of a sudden, you sell out and you so-called retire, and you don't have a list of things. You weren't doing anything last night about what you were going to do the next day. So you get out of bed and you go, well, what am I going to do? You know, and that's not sadness, but it's a weird feeling.
You have to downshift.
You have to downshift. Yeah, you really do. And you have to slow down your thinking and everything. And I've never been so caught up out of touch with reality as to think I wouldn't get old. I mean, we all start thinking about getting old, you know, and it's really odd. One thing that I would never have guessed is how easily we can sort of take ourselves out of this world and be over here on the side watching it. And that's not a pleasant thing for me at all. But you do lose some things. You lose your you lose your entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
You lose obviously physical things, strength, and that type of thing. But that's not it's not all a sad thing. You gotta say it's just the way nature is. And some people say, well, what would happen if? What will this world be like when I'm not here in it? Well, nature has a way of kind of tricking us, I think, with our egos and our goals and our self-importance and all that, and we get to thinking that what would the world do without me? Well, it's just nature and it's God's plan, and it's just it's not a bad or a sad thing. It's just reality.
Well, we've talked a lot on this show, Jason, about purpose.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where my mind's going. Succinctly, would you say you had trouble finding your purpose at that stage of life then? Is that where your mind went? What am I supposed to do at this point?
Yes. The answer to that is unequivocally yes.
So how did you deal with that? Because that's some of us, like you just said, we all have to deal with that question. So how did you deal with that in such a vibrant way? I mean, here you are on the porch at 84, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, wow, you're killing it, my friend.
Well, I'm fortunate to be 84, having hit as many walls as I hit in racing, and I'm had good health and very fortunate, blessed. But how do you deal with that?
Yeah, have you found purpose in the latter stages of your life where you feel like you've got a reason to get up in the morning?
I had to go. You can't just get up and say I'm going to go play golf. After about 6 months of that, it really got old, and then said I've got to have a job. Well, what kind of job would I like to have? Well, I like to drive. I can drive from here to Santa Fe, New Mexico, nonstop, and it just doesn't bother me. So I said I think I'll get something where I drive maybe. And so I looked into what was happening with the veterans and the wheelchair veterans. And I went and talked to the guy, and I just went and talked to him, and he hired me right then on the spot. They were needing drivers, evidently. But I started driving for 6.5 years. I took wheelchair veterans to their appointments and to their dialysis and to that type of thing.
Well, that's really cool.
And I thought that was, I wasn't in the service. I wasn't in the military at all, and I've always felt like I kind of missed something.
Yeah.
Probably I missed something that I should be glad I missed, but because it was Vietnam. But at the same time, I felt like I might could do something, at least take them to their appointments and keep them safe and, on time, and have a friendly driver they could talk to. And I made a lot of friends, veterans. The veterans are about 80% men and 20% women, and you just meet some awesome people. And it was excellent. So that filled the gap because you were driving 60 to 70,000 miles a year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You were going to Chattanooga and Kingsport and different places. I knew the way to Kingsport.
Sure.
I've been to Bristol and
yeah, absolutely.
And so anyway, that was very good, and it helped me. Not only financially, it was a great paying job, but it helped me to have a little bit of purpose in the morning when I got up.
But it wasn't a mind. What I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're not open dialysis clinics. You're not just bringing loads of cash in it. And that's not why you were doing it. Yeah, you made a little money on the side, but it was the relationships, the people you were helping these guys and women that needed help. And those relationships that you developed with them, that's where you found your purpose.
Right. That's exactly right. It was the people, and they were. Now, you had your grouchy guys, and you had your people that were on the way to for a psychiatrist workup, and some of them were absolutely
Yeah.
sad in their mental situation, but it was fun relating to them. It was fun encouraging them. It was fun getting them where they're supposed to be on time, and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed it.
So I remember asking my father when he was about your age what his greatest element of pride in looking back, his greatest sense of accomplishment was. And one of the comments he made in thinking about that answer was things that he considered an accomplishment at the time didn't mean as much looking back. The perspective of time had changed his view of those things. So I'm curious, in asking you that question, looking back, be it professional or personal, related to family or what have you, what would you say is the accomplishment you're most proud of in your life?
Wow. Now that's a hard one. I would say that, first of all, the best decision I ever made was to marry the woman I married. And Sunday, tomorrow, is our 62nd anniversary.
Oh, well, happy anniversary.
Yeah, congratulations.
So
Wow.
to do that, and she's still awesome. And and then the typical things that people say is the family and the grandkids and the type
Sure.
of thing. And so I won't get into all that, but from a business standpoint, the most satisfying thing that I look back on is having a securities broker dealer and having a group of investors, and it was my job to go around and find investment product for all of us to invest in. And so I would scour the country, literally trying to find something. You'd have to look at 50 deals to find one that was feasible and that would work. And analyzing those companies and those projects was the most satisfying work I've ever done.
So, conversely, looking back, what would you say is your biggest regret, be it personally or professionally? Not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot.
Well, that's exactly what you're doing. and I would say that the biggest mistake business-wise that I ever made was selling out the dialysis clinics. I was very good at starting them, hiring the nephrologists, hiring the nurses, getting it all set up, and all that was fine. But then about the time they got to really producing, somebody would come along and offer you a big something for it, and you would think it didn't matter if it was in Indianapolis or if it was in Cookville. I mean, they would want to buy it. And so I took the cash and sold out, and I think my biggest regret in business is that I always managed to sell out too quick. I had several things that never should have been sold.
I see.
And I would have been sitting there reaping the benefits right now.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be happier than I am sitting here right now smoking a cigar with you guys.
Well, I would agree 100% with that. And I think, here you are, you commented on you're 84 years old, you're about to celebrate your 62nd wedding anniversary and, feeling like, oh, you were put out to pasture. But I think from my standpoint and hopefully the standpoint of my children, as you move into that stage of your life and the age you are where you would be a sage and have wisdom to share, I think there's a tremendous amount of value in us continuing to connect with your generation to do that.
Well, I appreciate that. I wouldn't say I'm a sage. I've learned.
I'll be the judge of that.
I've made so many mistakes and you can learn from those.
Right.
That I can now. My grandkids, I have two guys that are out of college or in college, and one out. Two grandsons that come to me, and every time they come to me and want to know what should I do in this situation, and I tell them, and really what I'm telling them is, don't do this. This is what I did. Now, here's what you need to do. And I tell them about mistakes I made And if that's a sage, and
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. There's
that makes
no
sense.
substitute for experience.
Yeah, I had a good friend that we had some coin laundries together, and he was in Nashville, and I was selling them, and I was getting in the development business where I could develop subdivisions and office buildings and things like that. And he said, Lanny, he said, I can tell you one thing. He said, first of all, avoiding mistakes is more important than just about anything in the development business. The second thing is that developers always develop themselves and get bigger and bigger and bigger until they just go dead broke. They owe so much money. They owe so much money at the bank on construction loans that they can't outrun the interest, that's being charged. And so he was exactly right. And then '08 happened.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that really, I didn't really retire. That kind of retired me
I see.
when the 8, 9, 10, and 11,
Yeah.
I lost a lot. And so driving a van was, for the VA guys, was a real privilege for me.
Yeah.
Go back to, I can't let it pass, 62 years of marriage. What is the secret of staying married 62 years?
I think people don't expect problems when they get married, and they spend more time planning their wedding than they do planning their marriage. And I think the give and take, you just have to be able to give in even when you know you're right, And when I get in
You love your wife more than you love being right.
you have to. I think you have to do that, and that avoids so much arguments about money, arguments about the kids, the way they're being disciplined, the way they're being treated. That there's just so many things. Now, when it so happened that we agreed a lot on the way we raised our kids and did our family, and my wife is a very conservative woman, and her dad had been a supervisor at Ford Glass Plant for 40 years. And so she was used to, he takes his lunch and he goes to work and he comes home and that type of thing.
You were not that guy.
Well, I was not that guy. And she had to really adapt and get used to that. And she did get used to it. And it took her about 10 years to gain any level of confidence in it. But even when she didn't have confidence in it, she hung in there. And then when I saw things about her that bothered me or irritated me, the way she looked at something, I had to learn to not make a federal case out of it. Because I'm bad about making a federal case out of things and pushing my theories,
Well, I think we have only scraped the tip of this iceberg here. I mean, on the coin wash. I did
know,
this. I mean, we could sit on the porch for quite a long time here.
Yeah, every time he opens his mouth, it's another business that he had that I'd never heard before.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
I hope I haven't gone into just tangents that
No.
that you were
The coin washes, were they here in Nashville?
They were all in Nashville.
So
Yes.
who knows? It might have been. I went to Dolly Parton's musical special. I know she met her husband, Carl Dean, at the Wishy Wash here in Nashville. Who knows? That might have been one of your.
No,
coin...
it wasn't Wishy. Ours was Wash Tub.
Okay.
Well, I mean, just a wealth of information and a wealth of wisdom, Lanny,
Well,
which I
thank you.
appreciate and
Indeed.
respect. And man, I just love hearing these stories. I'm sure our listeners have too. And I hope that you guys enjoy your time on the porch as much as we have. Join us, Two Guys on a Porch.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Give us a comments. If you have questions that you'd like to pose to Lanny, put them in the comments. We'll give them to Lanny and we'll give them back to you. Really appreciate you hanging out with us on the porch. You included, Lanny. Really appreciate you
Thank you
coming
so
and
much for
allow
having
us
me.
to. Oh, absolutely. The gleaning of wisdom here is awesome.
Well, it's really been a pleasure, and I also enjoyed Kimberly.
Thank you.
She comes up there to get her ear scratched every 30 seconds.
She's a glutton for petting. So non-discriminate petting. That's what the guys at Wild Rose would say. So
Well, thank you so much for having me.
thank you
y'all.
for joining
Thanks,
us.
Lanny. Please like and subscribe, rate, all the stuff you do on all the social media platforms. Thanks, guys.
Let us know what your drink and cigar of choice is at twoguysonaporch.com, and you'll be entered into a drawing to get some Two Guys on a Porch swag